All right, we are live. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, social media influencer, Miss Deidre Payne from Orange County. Miss Payne, how are you? You got that virtual car background going on? What's going on?
Hey, I'm here for you, Mr. Davis. Even though it's right before work, I'm here.
Oh, you're working this evening.
Uh huh. That's when
Okay,
I'm in the car. Is when I'm about to go to work.
all right. So you start work at 7 o'clock at night?
Remember, I told you I do merchandising, so I go in
Oh,
to the
that's right.
stores late at
Oh,
night.
that's
So
what they call it, merchandising.
that's what they call it.
All right, we have our other guest host all the way from the state of Maine, Mr. Darren Guy. Mr.
Mr.
Guy, how are you?
Davis, I'm
Are you
good.
in a new studio or just an updated studio?
No. I just noticed that I've left the cabinet doors open behind me, and I was painting on my wall earlier today, so there's some abstract there. And actually, what I did is I have us running here. I got the modem fixed, but I have this vision going here, and then just in case, I have this system all ready to go, so I could just do a switch. If I started to go, then I'll switch immediately, and I can be running. So, yeah. So all the
Oh
way,
Lord.
be prepared, man. Motto of the Boy Scouts.
All right, and we have a special guest coming back for an update, I think. Miss Brittany Wright. Miss Wright, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing good. What state are you calling in from?
Idaho.
Idaho. God's country.
God.
So what's going on your with your case in Idaho?
Well, first and foremost, I was wondering how fast you could get here for a fishing trip over the weekend and court on Monday. No. Um,
Yes.
well, I mean, I'm only
Serious.
I'm not being sarcastic at all if you're up for it.
Well,
So we
here's the
had
problem, Brittany. Here's the problem. I'm licensed to practice in California. In order to practice in Idaho, I would have to file an application called a Pro Hoc Vice application to get permission to appear in Idaho courts. That
how long does that
process,
take?
3-4 weeks, if you like jump on it right away.
Hmm.
Because
What
in
is it,
most
Pro
states,
Vice?
yeah, it's a Latin term. It basically means an attorney from one state can go practice in another state. And each state has its own requirements to meet Pro Hoc Vice. They're generally the same. I have to fill out an application to the Idaho State Bar. It has to be approved after they do like some background checks and they get information from the State Bar of California. Then I have to go to court and file a motion. I have to get a local counsel to assist me, and I have to have insurance for Idaho. Now, after all of that is complete, then I can go to
You
Idaho.
better catch at least 5 stillhead, right? Is that what you're saying? Honestly, if it wasn't for you and all your videos, all everything that you provide for everybody, I wouldn't be able to confidently say, and I know you absolutely will not agree with this, but I feel like I could represent myself right now.
No, don't do it.
Oh!
Then you haven't watched
Okay.
his videos in its entirety.
Okay. Well, okay. You'll understand why I say that once I give you the update. Okay. So we were supposed to have the adjudicatory hearing today. And 2 hours of being in the waiting room for Zoom, they finally get on. And apparently the hearing before me ran 2 hours long into mine. I don't know. So they rescheduled it for Monday. But then my attorney asked for a breakout room because he can't ever work with me outside of a breakout room, apparently. And he said, he gave me a couple things, and I was like, okay, you guys have to hear this because I don't really know. I don't know. Okay. The test results. So on the test results, they're only showing for methamphetamine. Remember how we were like, why aren't they at least showing for amphetamine? Supposedly, per my attorney, that is because that's how they know. It tells them that the kids and I only were in contact with, like, it was, what's the word I'm trying to use? Like, it was like on the walls or whatever, and we like touched it or whatever kind of thing. I don't know what word I'm trying to use, because contact isn't the word I'm trying to use. But if it were to have amphetamine also, then that is when they know that it was actually ingested, because that's when your body ingests it, breaks it down to amphetamine. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, that's amazing. That means, like, they really can't prove. I mean, it could, the apartment that I was just living in, I know the person prior, like, I don't know, but the neighbor knew that she had done drugs in it all the time. It could have been just the apartment we lived in, you know? And I said, they can't prove how we came in contact with it, like what it, you know, why we tested positive. And I said, so that's awesome, because then they can't prove, or they have no standing to say I'm, you know, or I'm a substantial danger to them. And he's like, well, it just depends what the attorney or what the judge says. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, really, you can't prove anything, right? Do you agree? So far, do you agree with me? Hello?
The problem is you're talking theoretical, right?
Well, no. Why am I talking theoretically?
Because you think that everything is fair and just and right in the world.
Yeah, true. No, I know. Okay, fine.
You know,
No.
I've already told you what I thought about representing yourself. You know that. But you know what? I'm not going to argue about it with you. If you go do it,
I just
and
don't know.
pardon me.
My attorney doesn't seem like he's going to do anything. What? Stop.
Because he said Brittany as in shut up. I don't do that very well. So shut up and be a good listener.
You know, Brittany, a funny thing, right before the show, I just finished maybe a 45-minute, 45-minute meeting with 3 social workers, their attorney, me and my client on Zoom. And one of the beginning rules that they laid out for this meeting was we won't interrupt each other. Maybe about 5 times I had to say, I thought we agreed we weren't going to interrupt each other. And they even said it once to me because I got kind of like, what? I interrupted somebody. But Brittany, we can't interrupt each other for 2 good reasons. Number 1, it's a pet peeve of mine. Number 2, the people can't hear what's going on. And there's another reason, actually. I have a team that takes these videos, edits them out. If I'm talking, saying something that's, pearls of wisdom, and you're talking over me, I won't be able to use that on another platform like Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. So if I'm saying something really brilliant, we don't want you interrupting on it.
Don't mess up the mastermind.
Right, you get it? Okay.
You heard me?
All right, so now, I was saying about representing yourself. 1 out of 1,000 times you're going to represent yourself and you're going to win. 999 times out of 1,000, you're going to lose. So knowing those odds, and I'm not pulling them out of the air, you decide what you want to do and then come back and report to us. You just went, with a less than a 1% chance of winning, and you tried to be the hero and you lost your kids. Okay, go ahead. Jesus. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'd get upset with you, Brittany. And I'd actually argue with my clients. But I don't do that anymore. I give you the information. I give you my advice. You do with it what you will.
She just can't get you there fast enough.
Well,
I mean, in reality, I don't want to represent myself because I do know there's, all the legalities of what they have to do that I mean, it would take a lot of work and this and that and blah blah. It takes schooling. I know this. I don't want to represent myself. I think right now he just seems so like it seems as though I mean there's a really good with that new there was that and then so once he told me that he said that the judge is not going to, and I just literally right before the court hearing started, I was watching a short of yours, and it said that if they do not grant you that second test that you have requested, that it's not that they can't use it as evidence, correct?
Yeah, there's a federal regulation, I believe, that talks about that.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. So
As a matter of fact,
they aren't going.
as a matter of fact, and I know this is true in California and in LA County, the contract, and in Orange County, the contract that the county has with the testing facility, if you look at that contract, in that contract, it says that when a person requests a second test, a retest, basically that it has to be given. And the reason why that's in there is because of the federal regulation that says, okay, you took a test and now we're going to use it against you. But if and you can't have a retest. No, that's not the law. They have to retest it. You can call the drug testing facility and confirm that that is accurate, or you can call 00 Okori Okorocha,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
who was our drug testing expert, and confer with him.
So he told me that because of what they found out about it's only testing for methamphetamine, that they don't need to do the retest, that they're not going to grant me that.
Who told you that?
I've been asking for this for a month.
Who
and they're
told
not
you
going
that?
to do it.
Who
My
told
attorney.
you that? Okay, so I'm not a lawyer in Idaho, but I bet $1 if he made a motion to throw out the drug test because they won't do the retest. I bet you win. Or maybe you should talk to another lawyer in Idaho.
If he made a motion to draw out the drug test because they
thro-
won't
throw
retest
out.
it.
Yeah, to throw out, and you cite the applicable
Yeah.
federal and state law. I mean, the judge would probably be hard pressed. But I would also, talk to another lawyer in Idaho before you try any of, Davis's crazy and wild ideas.
Well, it's not really crazy and wild when it's like your rights and they're not doing it. So
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how people view you. Like your arguments are crazy. Sometimes I make, really good kind of crazy arguments, people that think they're crazy, and I make it to the judge, and I have the feeling the judge is looking at me like, I never thought of that. Or like, that's a really good point. Nobody's ever brought it up.
mm-hmm.
Right? Doesn't mean it's a
So-
winner. But it makes them think.
where do so I guess just talking to another attorney, because he's pretty much on board, my current one is pretty much on board with what the judge is deciding. Do you feel like it would be, it's already on Monday. I just don't know what to do. I don't know, like, how, like, do I tell him, hey, we're gonna say, this is what it is, and tell him how to do his job? I feel really like I kind of already did that this morning.
Yeah,
Then
but
we
you don't
ended up
know
going to
enough.
court.
You don't know enough
Mhm.
to tell him how to do his job. And most attorneys, when you
Well, the
tell them how to
whole,
do their job,
yeah, I know, that's what I mean. I don't want to upset him, but if there needs to be like a motion to have it thrown out, then
but I'm just telling you this,
Mm.
that emotion may not even exist in Idaho. So you start going down the road of Davis's crazy idea, and they may have a law in Idaho that says you can't do that. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not licensed in Idaho.
Okay.
Go ahead. It looks like she's having a spasm, or she wants
Yeah,
to.
Jesus. Will you call on her, please?
I'm waiting to be called on.
Holy
I had
cow.
a question about, remember your child being tested at such a high level that was like, meaning that child should have been like dead? Did that ever come into question about like, if it was just contact, how could my child just come in contact with this drug, but yet be testing at such a level that is like basically comatose? That wasn't even brought up.
It hasn't been brought up just because we haven't had a hearing. So, I
Well,
mean,
you
we
don't.
haven't had a hearing.
You don't have an expert also to come in and say that.
Mhm.
Who's going to say that? Who's going to testify to that?
And how can the attorney tell her that the only testing as meth means that it's contact? Is he an expert to be able to say that,
Mm-mm.
Mr. Davis?
No, definitely not.
So even his reasoning of why it only came up as meth and not amphetamine is really maybe not even going to hold what you're wanting to hold as far as, you know, because he's not an expert to say that himself, I would assume.
You know, not
Once
too
I
long
heard
ago.
that, that's when I was like, I need to try again, because I did try last week to call a Corey. But once I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely need to get a hold of him, because just to even see if he, like, if that is true.
Did he
Because I
return your
can
call
Google
or
it
no?
all day long, but
Was he able to return your call or no?
I didn't get in a return call, but I only tried once and left a message, and that was it. But
Oh, I'll mention it to him.
huh?
I'm gonna tell him, hey man, you missed out on a $25,000 expert fee.
Yeah. Way to go, pal.
You didn't return the call.
I mean, it's kind of at the point where it's like we probably are going to need an expert to tell all of us really where does this stand, like. But it
I
sounds
mean,
like
do you
she's
wonder where
falling
those
for
high
it
levels
from
came
the
from for
attorney
your child
himself.
yourself? I mean, like, that's got to be kind of mind blowing, right? Like, your
It
kid.
was a mistake in the drug testing facility,
Oh,
obviously.
yes. Okay. That's right. God, stupid.
What do you say?
No, don't worry about it.
It was a mistake
No.
within the drug testing facility, because
Right.
at those levels, you would be dead and your kid would be dead.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
think the whole test should be thrown out based off of that in itself.
But she
Right.
doesn't have anybody to come in and testify to that has the qualifications to say that.
See,
But
your
does
lawyer should be doing that.
So who's qualified there to say that their test is accurate?
Somebody like Okori, you got to find the Okori of Idaho, or pay a fortune and have Okori fly there and testify.
Well, he's got the Davis discount going, he said.
Oh yeah, he did say that, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
See,
he
Brittany,
did.
you didn't watch the seminar. Okori said that he would give a
I've
discount
been
to
waiting
everyone.
to hear about it.
You weren't
Yeah,
You have
listening.
his
Mr.
number?
Davis,
You
you
have
were
his
gonna
number?
get, you were
No, no,
gonna follow up with her.
no. The Okori's discount was only for people who attended the seminar.
She
I
didn't
still
know
didn't
about
buy
it.
a copy.
I don't even
She
think
did.
I don't think we even put it up for sale yet. Not because we're not going to. It's just we haven't gotten around to it. I've been a trial.
If you Oh shit.
I can't remember. There's one more thing I was gonna say, but I don't remember.
Call us Tuesday and let us
Yeah.
know what happened. No, call us Monday and let us know what happened.
Oh yeah, she's live.
Well,
Do
She'll
you
be
have
calling you
Okori's
during the
number? Do you want to get a hold of
Zoom. She'll be calling you during the Zoom hearing. Hey, Mr. Davis.
I don't have.
him? Worth its weight in gold. Do you want Okori's number?
I
You do?
wrote it down. You put it. Well, I think it was the number you put on. I have a few thousand notes. Whoa.
It's,
Oh, Mr. Davis.
his website is
That was Grace. That wasn't me.
Grace.
his website is, I'll tell you right now. Hold on a minute. It's 00. I want to say it's 00 Law Guy or something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's the. Oh wait, no, yeah, that's not the one I wrote down. I think it was.
Law. It pops right up when you write his name.
What would her attorney think if she had you on the phone, Mr. Davis, during the hearing?
You have no idea
Sure
how
think he's
tempted
got Vincent Davis on the phone during the hearing.
Hold on a second. What'd you say, Brittany?
You have no idea how tempted I am to do that. Like I am like this. If it didn't take, if it wasn't based on time for you, it's at the point where like my mother and I have like it probably time happens, and we probably should have hired him already. But now it's like Monday.
Yeah, nothing like waiting to the last minute.
Well,
She bribed you with fishing.
I did. With that man back there.
God.
Yeah, but that doesn't get him into the court in Idaho.
Oko.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So all the money in the world, it's still not going to change anything. I guess I didn't think that I had higher hopes for my attorney, I guess.
So there it is right there in the private chat. Obviously, www, that stuff.
Here, let me cut and paste it to the regular chat.
I thought he also had a double O. He's got some really cool stuff on his site too. I'll tell you, you get to hear him in action. He's pretty. I wish Mr. Davis would give us some Davis
Grace.
demos, to hear him at it.
Grace Joyce.
I have those. I have those on my. Did you see my shorts? Did you go look at those? I have that one on there, the Joyce one.
What happened to the guest?
She
Oh,
disappeared.
you threw her off already.
No.
Man, you just crushed that poor Brittany, man. She's just been so good.
Oh, here she comes. Here she comes.
Here she is. All right.
Technology.
Where'd you go?
Don't push the back button.
Yeah, I hit
You wish
F12. That
Mr.
scared
Davis
me.
would do what?
Do you guys hear that?
Was that a guest?
No, it's silence.
Sounds nice.
It's silence.
You know what that sound is? That's the sound of opportunity going out the window.
It's silence. Anyway, Miss Brittany, what were you saying before you removed yourself from the stream?
Wish I knew. I wasn't saying anything.
Must have been funny. Deidre's laughing.
She's just gearing up to laugh.
I'm delirious. I'm tired.
You said that you wish Mr. Davis would tell something, and then that's when I pushed the back button.
She said, I can't wait to hear your lawyer hear Mr. Davis is on the phone or something along the lines like that, right?
That was a while ago.
That was like 10 minutes ago.
Was I wrong?
Oh, man.
I wasn't wrong.
I don't know.
Anyway, back at the ranch.
Well, all right. Well, we'll
You
see
should
how it
definitely
goes. I
send
don't
him
know.
an email. Hit him up. See if he can do something for you. He did say that he has the David discount. Make sure you like and subscribe to this show. And I bet you listen to some. He has some
subscribe
he has some
mean?
excerpts of him on his doing his cross examinations and stuff. It's pretty intense. So,
like if you're on YouTube, she asked, what does subscribe mean? Like if you're on YouTube and you go to your subscriptions, if you subscribe to Mr. Davis's, like this show, How to Fight CPS and Win, then it will show up as one of your subscriptions.
it should be right under Mr. Davis.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is just
Right about
subscribe,
where his
like
chin.
push subscribe
Yeah.
to it.
I think it says like join or
And then-
subscribe or whatever. Yeah. So not only do you like it, but you subscribe to it. You get it?
It's a good
Brittany,
one.
you're
Do I
not a
get, like,
YouTuber?
Well, I don't know. I watched like all your videos. I thought I was gonna say, do I get more videos if I subscribe? Is that like you?
Ooh.
I'll do it in just.
You
Is it
get
time
like
to go to
notifications every
Hey.
time a video comes on.
Is it time to go to Patreon?
We just started something new. If you become a member of the YouTube channel, you get secret videos.
That you pay for.
A member, so you pay for
Yeah.
like a monthly fee.
Yeah.
Time to go
Do
to
you guys
And then
notice
Mr.
that
Davis will give
hardwood
you
sitting
like
on the wall,
kudos
how it makes-
and appreciate you.
And if you're ever on the live stream,
Oh,
your questions get answered automatically.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Brittany. She's a member. We have to answer her
Oh,
question.
Brittany's
Yep.
first.
And he does it too. Mr. Davis
You
does it
answer-
too. He'll interrupt anybody.
you answer my questions. Like,
Anybody
no
for
matter what the
Brittany.
question is, you don't say, well, I think you should talk to your attorney.
No.
You actually answer
the-
them?
No, it depends if I can. The
Oh.
the
Hmm.
live stream, and I think Facebook as well, has something where you can pay for a question. So let me give you an example. I watch a YouTube instructional video. It's live though every weekend on Saturdays, and there's like hundreds of people on the show.
What is it?
And the guy, if you have a question, a technical question like you want to ask, you have to do. Oh, it's called a super chat.
Yes,
You-
super chats.
You can pay anywhere from like $1 to
A lot.
$1,000,
Mhm.
right? And you buy the super chat like online with your card, and then you put it in the system, and then it pops up on his screen as a super chat. And he stops everything and he answers your question.
Yeah.
You know,
I like
so if
the
you had a
sound of
technical
this.
question about something, you just give him, you give the guy a super chat. And we really haven't promoted doing that. I guess we should now that
Do
I
you
think
have
about
that feature?
Yeah. We should definitely
Yeah.
should.
Like right now, if you became a member right now, and like if you were watching the show live right now, and then you asked a question, if you were a member, it would like show up like with a certain something on Mr. Davis's end to where
Right.
he would
It
know that this is a member asking a question.
Right. Or if you bought a super chat, you don't have to be a member to be
Right.
to do a super chat.
Yeah, the Mindseed guys
Wow.
do that, and they'll do like people will give them $500 just to say their names and stuff. It's crazy.
Right.
Really?
So on this particular show that I watch, super chats of a certain amount gets you a shout out on the show. And apparently, these shout outs can be valuable if you want people watching the show to know who you are and how to contact you, because you might be selling a certain service or product. Then super chats of another amount get something different, and then super chats of another amount get, the question is answered almost instantaneously by the host of the show. So in the super chat, in the show that I watch, it's about how to do better live streams. So you'd be shocked at the number of people worldwide that do live streams just like this. And there's technology coming out all the time, but how to do better live streams. I'll give you an example. Somebody that spent a lot of money on his studio for his live streaming is Darren.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting on those emails.
And then somebody who's on the budget version, like look at the difference, right? But if
You're so mean.
right, it could be important to you, that you might impress someone.
Have you seen these?
It's my goal. I told him before the show started, I'm working towards it. Can't you tell? Like better lighting. I even did my hair
Right.
today.
You do it. Well, yesterday Deidre had on makeup.
Oh,
I know.
girl.
Oh, they're
I
so
didn't
mean
know
to
what
me.
to think. I was
They're
kind of
so
nervous.
mean. They're
Very
so
intimidating.
mean. Darren has been supposed to be sending me emails about how to do a better background or live stream green something for I don't even know how many weeks now.
Deidre,
Yesterday, he even said he was
Oh
sending it
my
as we
gosh.
speak.
I sent you those things.
Hey, you
You
guys.
need to get like one of those rods, and have it from one window to the other, and then just put a curtain on it. So you just slide it. So when you're in your car, you can just like slide it, and you have that background. Like, Probably get
Yeah.
like some flowers.
That's
on it
the
or something.
easy way you would think, right? But no, that's what I thought too. I'm like, oh, what do I just get, like a green curtain? And I don't know. I guess there's a lot more to it, they say. That's why I was supposed to be getting emails.
There's a
I
lot of
also pushed
videos
the
out
back
there.
button and exited out of this show. So
So,
don't trust
Deidre,
me.
just go to YouTube and go and type in how to
Yeah.
do better live streams.
Yeah, because Darren will never follow through.
Oh, I sent that to you right now.
Does
Ooh.
Okori, right?
Corey Okorocha.
CoreyOkorocha.com.
Does he do shows like this?
No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him into. He's going to be doing our show every month, our seminar. But he's younger. He's got a family. He's married. He works really hard. So my kids are all grown. If my kids were little, I wouldn't I wouldn't have time for all this. To be on here with Deidre and.
Yeah, I guess if I still had kids, I wouldn't have time for this either.
Darren, I was just gonna say something like that. Let's not go there. But hey,
Wait a minute, it's because I stole your thunder. We can't
You
go
can't
there.
even right now. You both
Hold on.
seriously.
You guys, I got to stop because I got to bring on the next guest.
oh yeah,
He's languishing in the green room. Brittany, give us a call. You have my office number if you want to contact me. Okay.
on Monday, call him.
Okay.
All right.
I
Bye-bye.
will. 3:00.
Okay, there's Brittany. She's gone.
Bye, Brittany.
All right, we're going to bring our next guest on. Our next guest is Mr. Butler. Mr. Butler.
Yeah, Mr. Butler. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Butler, we're getting a revive. That means you have the show on another device. You're on the screen, but you have the show on another device.
You serious?
Oh, you sound good there, Mr. Butler.
I'm not allowed to.
No, it wasn't him sounding good. It was me being reverb.
What? I don't think so.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hey, hello?
I think so. Mr. Butler, it's not affecting you.
Oh,
It's
okay.
affecting me.
All right,
And
so what
me.
should I do?
Do you have another device on recording? Like, do you have like the TV and the computer or something going back to hand?
I just turned the TV, the computer off.
All right,
you got
testing
one.
1, 2, 3.
Hello?
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh.
Oh.
Hello?
There we go.
All right, my bad.
Wow, that's really good.
Testing
This
1, 2, 3.
is a great picture.
See, now it's gone. Now you're perfect,
Yeah.
Mr. Butler.
All right, cool. How you doing, everybody? Peace and blessings. How you doing?
Where are you calling in from?
Nevada,
Oh, Nevada. What part?
Carson City.
Oh,
Carson City. I just did a hearing the other day in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Hearing with CPS. So what's going on in Carson City in Nevada?
Well, I went to court to get custody of my daughter. I won custody of my daughter. 2 days later, I got arrested for child neglect while I was moving out the apartment. I went to criminal court. They dismissed the case. CPS picked it up, and I've been going through a whirlwind for a whole year now. Just to make it short and simple. The other parent was abusing methamphetamines. My daughter tested positive for that. They said she could have been touched or something like that or whatever have you. They gave me drug tests. They took hair samples of me. There was none of that of me. So they ruled it out that it was her because she relapsed while we was still going to court. Other than that, I had a good rapport last month, and then this new report is saying something totally different. And it sounds like 5 people is writing the report because it's a totally new person writing the report. I had this social worker for about 6 months, and then they switched the social worker on me. about 10 days before court. And then now this social worker wrote a whole spiel about me. And she spoke to me like a few days before she wrote it. And everything that I asked her, it was the opposite of what I said.
Hence the Davis rule: don't talk to social workers without your lawyer.
Okay.
You know, this meeting I was doing today with a couple of these social workers, the woman kept saying, I'm reporting that the father won't talk to me. Father refuses to talk to me. Father refuses to cooperate. And finally I said, hey, you know what? I said, you're misquoting the father. The father's telling you he won't talk to you unless Mr. Davis is present on the phone or in person. And even after I mentioned that, she would keep saying, the father refuses to talk to me. And so finally I said, look, you can talk to him anytime you want. Just call me up and make an appointment. So she didn't want to make an appointment, and her attorney was there, and her attorney kind of suggested, you need to make an appointment with the father with Mr. Davis present. Let's pick a date and time right now. And we picked a date and time. So, you know, don't talk to the social worker without your attorney present or in or on the telephone or the Zoom meeting, because it never turns out well.
Hmm.
And in your case, you said ABC and they reported XYZ. Usually it's you say ABC and they say BCD, right? It's just a little bit. But sometimes you get that worker that goes for the gusto, you know, it says, you know.
The overachiever.
Now, here's the thing. If you don't talk to the social worker, that can never happen, right? Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being worst, you talking to the social worker is a 10. You not talking to the social worker is a 5. Now, which do you want, a 5 or a 10? You can't have it both ways because you're in this morass of a system. So you got to play the odds, and you got to, you know, go for the best strategy.
No wonder.
They're playing chess. You're playing checkers. Just remember that.
Woo!
You know, have you ever heard of a Chinese strategy game that's about 3,000 years old called Go?
No.
It's, you know, probably 10 times more complicated and sophisticated than chess. They're
Okay.
playing Go. You're playing checkers. They're trained to do this.
Right.
Please, these aren't just ordinary people. They're trained to do this. You know, you think you're going to talk your way out of it and explain to them why it's, you know, so simple, and they're going to listen to you.
They take classes on how to manipulate you, tell stories, and fraudulently change things. I mean,
Yeah, they said I
And
was
it's
a manipulator.
not a coincidence that you got that new social worker 10 days before your court hearing that decided to change your whole report, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis, what do you know for a fact that these caseworkers take for classes that you've run across that you're just like, holy crap, they really take this? You know, like what is something you've heard in your
Well, it's not presented as here's how to manipulate
right?
dad. It's more of a class on techniques to use to get information from people who don't want to give you information.
Mhm.
Now, what happens is, and I don't think they're trained to lie or cheat or steal, but what happens is, you know, in every case, everybody's trying to win. So if they feel for whatever reason towards you that, you know, they'll need to tell a little lie to protect the child, some social workers, not all, you know, have no problem with that. You know, they're human beings. You know, if I ever ask you and you don't have to answer, Deidre, have you ever told a lie?
Yes.
I mean, social workers are people too. You just think that because they're government workers that they're going to be true, honest, and fair. But look at, you know, you see it all the time, police corruption.
Come
right?
on, America. We're waiting for you.
Now I think it has come to the point where people expect cops to lie, right? They just expect it. They should probably have that same feeling towards social workers. And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that all social workers lie, but you have to protect yourself in case and when that happens. And I do see it a lot, but I only see, a small amount of cases. I see the cases where something has happened. The case where the social worker didn't lie, I'm never ever going to hear about it, right? Because Mr. Butler will never call me if he's being treated fairly. He's just fine with the court-appointed attorney or with no attorney, because he
I'm
doesn't
not fine.
he doesn't need it, if he's being treated fairly. But obviously, he came on the show because he's being abused by the system in Nevada.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I done did everything. I got my evaluations done. I did my co-parenting certificate. I did everything they asked me to do. They asked me to get a new apartment. I got it in 2 weeks. They asked me to get transportation. I bought a car. I did everything they asked me to do, and they still won't return my daughter to me. They still bringing up my past from 2017 as one domestic violence charge that I had.
you need a lawyer. You need a lawyer. Amber wrote, highly trained on psychological warfare. When either of you in the service, Deidre or Darren?
No, sir.
So, in the service, they have a division or a department in the armed services, in each of the armed services, called PSYOPs. Have you ever heard that term, PSYOPs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's psychological warfare. And our armed services use it. In business, they use it. In social worker involvement, they use it. Now, they may be term it something different, but the techniques are the same.
Mhm.
Psychological warfare. And you haven't been trained in it. You don't even know what's happening to you. Mr. Butler, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask me this evening?
Oh yes. My daughter was hurt while she was in the CPS custody, and her face was really scarred pretty bad, and it's not healing. It hasn't healed properly at all. Can I sue them for that?
Maybe yes or no, but you know who has a lawsuit against them is your daughter.
Yeah, my daughter. Yeah.
And not you personally, but
Yeah,
your
yeah,
daughter.
not me personally. I was gonna.
And
Yeah.
guess what? You can't bring that lawsuit for your daughter unless your daughter's in your custody.
Okay.
And here's something that I want to tell you that I've seen on occasion. They don't want to give you your daughter back because they know the minute they do, you're going to sue them.
Yeah.
You ever thought of that?
Right.
Meaning you shouldn't have let the cat out the bag on that one, maybe.
Look, he may not know it, but they know it. They know what's up. And I don't even have to tell him or ask him what happened. Bottom line is, kid was hurt in foster care. Injuries of that nature don't usually happen without somebody's negligence or intentional act.
And is your child still in that setting?
No, she called me today and said, "Oh, your daughter's in another placement." I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Oh, well, the other placement couldn't do it no more." I said, "Well, why are you telling me right now? I could have, if you would have told me last week, I could have made arrangements for her to go somewhere that I know somebody."
You can still do that.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, let me ask you something. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide?
No.
Yeah. Yes or no?
No.
Nope. Negative.
You threw me for a curveball.
She doesn't know.
I don't know. I'm going to be the devil's advocate and say yes.
Okay. Well, 2-1, you were outvoted. I only bring that up because when our government tells us something, like my kid got hurt in foster care and it was an accident,
Hmm.
think of Jeffrey Epstein.
Hmm.
So as soon as you get, you should call your bar association and ask for some referrals to CPS attorneys in your area.
Go to the bar association.
Yeah, the local bar association.
Not Fridays or the other places.
Okay.
What about the person I mentioned last night, Mr. Davis? No?
What, Mr. Butler? What county are you in?
Carson County.
Okay, so
Carson
you
City.
should Google Carson County Bar Association, and I
No,
would.
they all connected out here. I need an outsource.
Hey, isn't
Okay,
it-
when you go outsource, you're going to spend more money.
I know.
Okay.
Hire
isn't
Mr.
Carson
Davis
City
then.
shootouts?
Call
Isn't that
me
the
the-
OK Corral or whatever?
Mr. Butler, then call me tomorrow. Then.
Yes. Hire Mr. Davis.
Yeah,
You won't
man.
be wasting your money.
To be honest with you,
What happened out in Carson City? Didn't there some big shootout there when the old days?
How far is Carson City from Vegas?
5 hours.
Oh, that's a long way. Can you land in an airport there in Carson City?
Reno,
How far is it from Reno?
25 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Right there. I've actually been to Reno, and I've been to that airport. And not too long ago, seems like a couple of years ago, I had a case in South Lake Tahoe. Years ago, you could catch Southwest from LAX into South Lake Tahoe. Now, I don't think you can. You have to fly into Reno and then drive to South Lake Tahoe. It's quite a drive. Beautiful, but it's kind of long.
You saw the eyes of
Yeah.
Mr. Davis when you said 25 minutes from Reno. That means you should call Mr. Davis.
Well, that
Yeah.
means you don't have to drive far.
No,
So
I
does
know,
that-
but that
that's what happened
means
in Carson
that's
You don't have to drive far.
No one's listening.
Yeah, they had my sister fly out here. She was gonna live with me. They had her get fingerprinted and said, "Well, she don't need to get fingerprinted if she's gonna live with you. Why did you have her do all that paperwork?" So she said, "Well, since I'm fingerprinted, let me just take my niece back." Oh, you can't do that. It specifically says on this paper that you just gave her she could take her out of state.
She can get an attorney and pursue custody of the child in the juvenile court.
Okay.
An attorney would be separate and apart from you.
And it's not like an adoption, right?
No, that's up to her.
Yeah, no. They trying to get my daughter adopted. I'm not trying to do that.
Right. Well, the case that I have there, one of the things that we are alleging is that the social worker took a kid from the grandmother because allegedly the grandmother didn't want to adopt the child and wanted to go for guardianship. So they said, okay, we're moving the kid.
Yeah.
Those are all allegations by the grandmother. We don't know if they're true or not. We're going to have a hearing about that. But they used to do that in California, and then they ruled that it was going to be illegal. That if grandma in California didn't want to adopt, she didn't have to. She could go for guardianship. And there's nothing that DCFS or CPS could do. But a few years ago, that was could be a viable reason for the kid to be moved because the relative refused to adopt. And then, of course, the people, Darren, this is an example. The grandparents and the relatives said that, no, that's wrong. And they lobbied strongly to have the law changed, and it was changed.
Didn't it have a lot to do with the funding about
Davis
how
March on
they
Davis March.
were, how the families would think that, if they did adoption, that it would be closed out money wise, but legal guardianship, it would be the continuous pay.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons. If you adopt a child today, Deidre, through the CPS system, you're going to get adoptions assistance for 2, maybe 3 years, and then they're going to cut you off.
Mhm.
If you become legal guardian of that child and don't adopt, you get paid until the kid turns 18.
And that's why they don't want legal guardianship. They want to find someone that will adopt.
Right. But they say, forget the money. What they say is, oh, it's a better permanent plan
Yeah.
for the kid to be adopted. Now, tell me something. How is it better for grandma to become mommy? How is
Yeah,
that?
really.
And for your mom to become your
Sister.
brother? Yeah, your brother or sister. That doesn't even make sense. You know? Oh no, it's better for if we adopt those kids out. Give them permanency.
Yeah.
Oh, that's BS. I was
And
around.
then sometimes don't they trick the families into going for the adoption because these families still think that they're going to get that
Yeah,
money until they're 18 if they
yeah.
adopt?
When this first happened, many foster parents called me and said they wanted to sue because the money was cut off. After a couple years.
And then they didn't want the kid no more, right?
Well, who knows?
Sucks.
Who knows?
I was reading there's some food for thought. Like, we don't talk about this often. Not, I know we have hit on it a few times, but here's a couple of things. First of all, that stunned me the other day that 1 in 3 reunifications will move ahead. So 1 out of every 3 unifications will be successful. So that's automatically a failure rate. They're already giving you that 66% chance of failure just from the gates. I know that sucks. Also, what we don't talk about enough is, and I know we've hit on it, is the psychology that it is for the child that's been removed, the trauma that's been had. Not only that, but what I've been thinking about a lot now too is, how about the mother? Because I'm a big advocate on don't learn it from the book, watch nature, because that's what the Bible says. But how about how a mother feels? Yes, her child's been removed, but now she's been mothered by another, then returned home. How is this affecting these mothers in the way that they feel about their child after reunification and their mental stability and their insides? Yes, you got your kid home, but that's a big deal for a mother to have another mother raise their child and then be returned home. I mean, in the wild, what do? They kick them out. Literally, if you touch another baby bird or whatever, they're gone. They don't want it. They want nothing to do with it. There's that. Then there's also the things I was reading about, the statistics, is the suicide rates. And they don't talk about this nearly enough because it is damn alarming, especially like the thing that I had read was about California. The kids that are between 10 and 16 that are in, it's the kids that are in 10 and 16 that are in CPS possession, I guess, if you will. It's like 20%. I think it was right around 20% of those kids at the age of 10 to 16 will either try to commit or commit suicide while they're in that. And then it's a lifelong thing. And that didn't even go into, it started talking about the parents that aren't involved in this. I mean, there's such an array of issues that go far beyond just the fact that, your kid was outside in the rain, let's take it away. There's just so much more, that, and this is why it's so important that we all get together and we take this up to these lawmakers and say enough's enough, because I mean, you're talking about generations of people before this will ever be fixed. If it's ever fixed, we don't know what the repercussions of this is now. We have no clue because we haven't seen it yet. So I mean, everything aside, like that's all stuff that everybody needs to think about. On top of the fact that we're all getting our kids freaking just stormed from us, these are the other things that go with it that we're not talking about it, and it's very important to remember that these are real things that are happening to people.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Butler, I want to thank you for coming on. We've reached the end of the show.
Thank you so much, and I'll definitely be contacting you.
Yeah, definitely contact us and keep us posted on the show as well. You see the number down there, bottom right-hand corner, 888-888-6582.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
All right,
you.
folks.
Bye.
Thank you. And Mr. Guai and Ms. Payne, did you guys have anything you wanted to say before we sign off tonight?
Nope.
I want you to just make note on something. Can you explain to me a little bit? Why does that keep beeping? I've turned it down like 5 times. Can you explain how the whole the federal law, like I asked you in the thing, how do you pick between the federal law and then the state statutes and all that? How does that work when you're in court? If there's like a federal rule, everyone's like, oh, that's federal law supersedes this. You hear people saying that all the time because they know the law so perfectly. But how does that truly work in a courtroom?
I'm not sure about the question. Look, in
Okay,
a court,
does federal law supersede states' laws all the
it
time?
depends on what. It depends on what. No, not all the time.
Okay, so it's
There
a
are some, there,
time for time situation. It's not like a standard all the time federal supersedes.
no, there are
Okay.
some things that what they call federal law preempts state law. Okay, and those types of things always preempt state law. And then sometimes there are issues that are concurrent. I mean, you could do it either in federal law or state law. One of those is civil rights. You know, you can sue under your federal civil rights or you can sue under your state civil rights. I rarely see a case in California going with state civil rights law. It's mostly all federal law because the federal law apparently is much more advantageous to the person who is actually suing.
All right.
So it's a case by case basis, an issue by issue basis. Okay.
Darren, why don't you look at the screen?
I look at what? No, because I just my eyes all crooked. It just gets. I look at myself and I can't handle it. I can't. I don't know if you ever noticed it. I get this one eye that kind of goes like this, and then when my
Well, now
eyes,
I'm gonna notice it.
looks like I'm passing out. You know, like so. My mom will be calling. She's like, "You're falling asleep." I'm like, "I'm not falling
You
asleep."
did one show. You did one show, and it was hilarious. But I think I did one show too.
So like this way, you can't see that this is. You know, I'm from Maine, man. Some weird things happen in your head.
Mr. Davis is ready to cut us off now. He's gonna go eat dinner.
Hey, Mike, no one's forgot about the dads, dude. We're all right here. We're fighting. We're getting to the top two.
All right.
We're way over time, like Mr. Davis would say.
All right. Good night, Deirdre. Good night, Mr. Guai. We'll see everyone tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye-bye.